Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the Government Contracts Committee. I hope I see some smiles out in the gallery there. Again, we're trying to do the people's business this morning. The first item on the let's see here. I think we do have a quorum. So, Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Senator Meredith.
Present.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman.
Present.
Representative McCool.
Here.
Representative Rourks.
Here.
Representative Petrie.
Here.
Representative Hart.
Here.
Chairman Douglas.
Present. We do have a quorum, and so we are duly authorized to do business this morning. The first item on the agenda is consideration of the minutes of the July 8 meeting of the committee. Is there a motion that we consider these minutes approved? Okay. You right. Okay. We have a motion by Representative Ballman, and we have a second by Senator Richardson. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Oh, present. Whatever.
That's a yes.
Senator Richardson.
Or-
Senator Thomas. Representative Bowman. Representative McCool. Representative Rourks.
Yes.
Representative Petrie. Sorry.
No.
Good morning. See, I need to sit by Meredith.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Motion carries. Motion carries. Total number of items on the agenda today are 201 items in the amount of $88,653,611.89. All vendors are registered with the Secretary of State's office. Well, almost all. Next is the deferred list from July 2025 agenda. The first item is with the Kentucky Education Television, and it is number 28 on the July routine Public Service Commission green list. The vendor is still not registered with the Secretary of State. So, do I hear a motion to defer the contract to the September meeting?
So moved.
I have a motion by Representative Hart, or Co-Chair Hart. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second by Senator Meredith. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourks.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Motion carries. The next item on the deferred list is with the University of Louisville. It is actually number 118 on the July PSC Amendment Ivory list. The university is actually requesting to defer this contract again to the September meeting. They're asking our committee to do that. Do I hear a motion to defer this contract to our September meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion by Co-Chair Hart. Do I hear a second? I have a second by Representative Bowman. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed will say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Motion passes. The next item on the deferred list is with Behavioral Health Development and Intellectual Disabilities, and it's actually number 7 on the July routine memorandum of agreement pink list. Do we have any representatives here? You would make yourselves comfortable. I always ask that people actually pull the microphone a little closer so that, and then make sure the green button is on so that we can hear you. Representative Ballman and myself have questions regarding this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, well, before we do that, my bad. Would you please identify yourselves for the record?
I'm Dr. Patty Clark. I'm the Director for the Division of Mental Health within the Kentucky Department for Behavioral Health, Developmental, and Intellectual Disabilities.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Johnson. I'm the Director for the Division of Substance Use Disorder within the Department for Behavioral Health, Developmental, and Intellectual Disabilities.
Thank you, ladies. If you would, just please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth this morning?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Representative Ballman, I'll let you start off.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I noticed in my notes here that in 2017, 7 counties filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in order to avoid paying their portion of the KERS pension costs. The Supreme Court, however, has ruled that 7 counties must pay that $130 million they owe the state. So they owe the state tens of millions in pension obligations to the Commonwealth. So why are we entering into contracts for millions of dollars with 7 counties when they already have a multi-million-dollar liability with us?
As Kentucky's designated behavioral health authority, DBID, is required by statute to contract with 7 county services as a state designated community mental health center. They provide services for Jefferson, Bullitt, Henry, Oldham, Shelby, Spencer, and Trimble counties, and ensure access to the core safety net behavioral health services such as crisis response, outpatient care, and case management. While 7 counties does have outstanding obligations to the KRS, it is the sole provider of these statutorily mandated services in its region, and discontinuing that contract would jeopardize the care for thousands of people. Maintaining the contract ensures continuity, local responsiveness, and compliance with state and federal expectations for quality and accountability.
So can you explain to us also, I appreciate that response, but can you explain to us also how you came up with the funding split? So why is the contract so lopsided with general fund dollar?
Can you explain what you're...
Yeah, I don't have the contract in front of me directly here, but I have in my notes that the contract is lopsided with general fund dollars, and wanted you to explain how you came up with the split.
Well, it's based on the services that are provided and based on the population. All of our allocations are made. It's based on the population of the region, the number of services provided, the quality, et cetera. And we do have quite a few funds that go in that region for what's called homestead housing, which not just housing, but it's to divert individuals from law enforcement, incarceration, from residential services like institutions, et cetera. And so because of the higher population in that region, we actually have a higher percentage of funds that go to that region for that purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Ballman. Now, I have 2 quick questions. I probably will ask these same questions twice today. What's the purpose of the agency?
7 counties is a community mental health center that provides behavioral health services to.
I know what they provide. What is the purpose? I don't think that's a question we really ask ourselves. We provide a lot of services, but the question is simply, what's the purpose?
The purpose is to ensure that folks have access to behavioral health services in that community. So.
Okay. If I may, I know we keep numbers and we track the number of people that we're touching.
Correct.
Could you help me with the last time the number of people on the annual schedule has gone down?
Well, I can tell you that we served 24,500 people in the 7 counties region in state fiscal year 24.
Okay.
We do not have the final 25 numbers at this time. They have not been certified as we're.
If I may, and I apologize for interrupting you, but have the numbers ever gone down?
Yes, numbers fluctuate up and down all the time depending on the needs in the
On
region.
a yearly basis, or just on a short-term basis? Because I guess what I'm looking at, if our purpose is to help communities, at some point we should start seeing a decrease in number of people who require those services. And I'm just trying to get to the point where, and I'm not trying to be difficult, truly. The taxpayers are funding this. These programs are meant to help those people who are in crisis or who are in a particular situation, to help them get out of that situation, become role models in the community, therefore teach those coming up behind them not to be in this situation, which would ultimately suggest that at some particular point in time that we would have repetitively decreasing numbers.
Absolutely. I hear what you're saying. Thank you. Yes, we are seeing a decrease in the numbers of people served through 7 counties, but we also see a higher acuity of those who are served by 7 counties. So as we do address the needs, that reserves these services by our safety net providers for those who are at the highest need and are the least likely to be able to access services in other places. And so as we are able to grow the ability to cover those services, we do see a decrease, but we also have a higher acuity of folks being served.
Explain what you mean.
By higher acuity?
Yes.
That means that people need longer term services. They need more intense. They have complex cases. They may have co-occurring disorders. They may have both mental health, substance use, other eating disorders, other kind of things co-occurring at the same time. There may be physical health conditions that need to be addressed. And in order to make sure that they have appropriate services and have the best chance of becoming well, we address the need of them.
Okay.
Across.
That suggests to me that we may need to take a look at how we offer those services and what services we offer if we're having people having increased comorbidities.
Absolutely.
Because that is, in fact.
And we do that, yes. We
Okay.
are.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Any other questions? Representative Petrie?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you have a decent estimate of what the unfunded liabilities are of 7 counties in the bankruptcy case that was referenced?
I do not.
Any idea whatsoever aside from what Representative Ballman just related?
I do not.
Is there anyone in the contract process or inside the state agency that has attempted to determine that amount and then look at that as a direct subsidy into 7 counties to ascertain the extraordinarily high cost of delivery of services in that region?
Okay.
Sure.
I was getting ready to look for you.
Before you speak, if you would, please introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hi, Wesley Duke. I'm the General Counsel for the Cabinet for Health and Family Services. It's good to see you all this morning.
Raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, proceed.
So yesterday, just a little history lesson of this bankruptcy and everything yesterday. And in fact, their bankruptcy is still ongoing. They're still active in the Western District. It's the amount is approximately $20 million, I think, is what is being argued over. So it came back from the federal district court, came back to bankruptcy court, and they are and the plan is being disputed there. So you got about $20 million that's in question here as of yesterday.
Understood, and I've talked with multiple attorneys on the matter, and I think 20 is on the very extreme low estimate. I think we're considerably higher, and it's going to be what's going to be the reasonable cost. And in fact, I think they're having an extraordinarily hard time determining what the actual unfundeds are because of the methodologies that are used to determine.
It definitely appears that that's the case.
Yes, and we do have 2 APs that have been resolved, and we're still back in, but this case is setting fallow at this point. It's not moving unless there was an event that really moved it yesterday.
Yep.
It's still fallow and setting there, and we have building unfunded liabilities all the time. Those dollar figures should be added back into the consideration of what's going into 7 counties to deliver those services, which ups the cost, which brings me to the next question, if I may. Has there been anything explored of could we possibly find another company that could render these services, or is it possible the state could render those services itself? Now, state rendering could be expensive, but when you add in the unfunded liabilities that we're subsidizing into 7 counties, we could probably have done it cheaper ourselves from the get-go. Anyone explored those 2 things?
As far as what the department and the cabinet has done, I do not think they have. I do know, once again, we've had a long-standing contractual relationship with 7 counties, and they have a fairly substantial provider network. But at the same time, I don't know if those conversations have been had. But at the same time, I don't know why they couldn't be explored.
Right along the same tack, in negotiating a contract, has there been any thought to how could we start to recover some of the unfunded liability that's out there? Offsets of any sort?
And I don't have that information here today, Representative Petrie, but we can definitely go back and see where we are on that and provide an update to the committee.
Be great. And I think last, if I may,
Yes, proceed.
is this: we contract for services by statute that are made necessary for delivery. Are there services in this contract that are not required by statute?
I'll defer to you on that one.
I don't believe so. I think that all of the services have been determined that they are needed to meet our statutorily requirements.
Yeah, I want to make sure needed to meet a requirement or required can be two different things. Okay. So when you start getting over to certain housing issues and certain other issues that were just mentioned today, I would have to go back and check what I previously checked, but are these required by statute? Because in some senses, it makes no sense for state government to be involved with an entity for anything absolutely no more than what is required by statute, with very low estimate of 20 million unfunded liabilities that the state has been subsidizing and will continue to if this case doesn't work out and we don't work out an agreement. Why would we go any further out on a limb with them than we absolutely have to? Because they've already cut it off on us once. So if it's anything further than absolutely statutory necessary, then we're too far. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Petrie. Well said. Senator Meredith has a question.
You know, an often cited statistic is that 60 to 75% of healthcare issues are based on social determinants. Do you think that's appropriate for the services offered by 7 counties as well?
I think there are multiple factors that play into that serve as risk factors or protective factors in the populations that are in 7 counties service area. And just like they do in all regions of the state, they can play a role, yes, but they're not necessarily the only.
So that was a yes. You kind of lost me in the explanation, but that was a yes.
Sorry, yes, and there are multiple factors that play into the need for a person to need behavioral health services. And
sure. Again, we said 60, 75%. So obviously the rest are based on other determinants. Right. The reason I pose the question is Chairman Petrie and I are both on the Medicaid Oversight Advisory Board and struggling how to fund for those services. And one thing concerns me, if communities are not actively trying to address those social determinants of health, then what role do they play in increasing the demand for these services? And this goes back to the earlier question about the funding, 35% federal, 63% general fund. That seems substantial. There's also agency 0.62. Is that from grants that 7 county receives, or where's that funding come from?
I would need to go back and look at their contract specifically to be able to tell you that, but I can do that.
I'd like to know, because again, if you're on the verge of bankruptcy, but you're putting funds into this, and it just kind of counterintuitive. But the reason I pose these questions is it's not picking on Louisville and Jefferson County, but if communities are not actively trying to address those social determinants of health, then should the state be totally, 63% responsible for the funding for these services? And I wonder if it's unreasonable, Chairman Petrie, as we're getting ready to do the next budget, whether Metro Louisville shouldn't be contributing to some of this costs and not just the state. So, and that wouldn't be just for this particular contract, but any that involves health care. We're not addressing those social determinants of health. So that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Meredith. I believe Senator Thomas does have one more question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And tell me your name again, please, ma'am.
I'm Patty Clark.
Ms. Clark. Seven Counties has been around for quite a while now. Am I correct about that?
That's correct, about 55 years.
Okay. And this is a regional service that's provided by the state, very similar to what we provide in other regions. I think in Lexington, we call it bluegrass, mental health, and mental retardation, correct?
It's New Vista at this point.
New Vista, yes. Thank you. All right. And I, going back to Senator Douglas' point, I pretty much know what you do. And so my question is, if we didn't have these services provided by 7 counties, how would these services be provided to the residents in the 7 counties area? And that includes Jefferson County, right? Jefferson County and the contiguous counties like Shelby, like Oldham. I think Spencer would be one of those. Bullitt would be another. Mm-hmm. Who would provide these services?
Well, at this point in time, we do not have a sufficient number of providers who are outside this network, community mental health centers, that would provide these services. We would see folks who are un or underinsured, not being able to access mental health services, behavioral health services, as a result of not having these providers in place across the state.
And if I may, this provider.
And tell me your name, please, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Sarah Johnson.
Yes, Ms. Johnson. Please go ahead.
The 7 counties offers a whole array of services. So while there's a lot of treatment providers that may offer one specific modality of treatment, they don't offer all to address all the needs of the community, like 7 counties does.
Okay. Now, there's been mention, and excuse my ignorance here, there's been mention of a bankruptcy that's taken. Is that a bankruptcy that's been filed by 7 counties? West?
Yes, Senator. Yes, this is 7 counties bankruptcy. Yes, and I don't know. I can't remember the exact date that it was filed, but it has been ongoing for several years.
Okay. And Mr. Dukes, is this a result of lack of funding, poor management? What's been the cause of this bankruptcy?
Well, I don't want to speculate on 7 counties' internal workings, but it appears that, and this is going back, a little history lesson here, that when
I love history.
When they and some folks in the room may have been aware of some of this stuff too. So when they left or attempted to leave the Kentucky retirement systems, that was being contested, and their ability to do that. And for almost a 2-year period, they did not make their retirement contributions.
They being 7 counties.
They being 7 counties, okay. And that led to the amount, which is, like you said, somewhere in the 20 million or maybe higher amount. So it's for almost a 2-year period, they did not make their required contributions, and that's the contested amount. Now, the decision making behind that, once again, I'm not privy to those decisions, but it was a decision by them not to do it for whatever reason.
So the bankruptcy is primarily a result of lack of payment or non-payment of retirement contributions to one of our retirement systems.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, Senator Thomas. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining us this morning and the seriousness with which the seriousness that we take in reviewing these contracts, and the seriousness that we have expectations, not just of those people who are providing the services, but the seriousness where we've really got to start taking a look at those people who are receiving the services and looking at the guardrail and see if they're meeting those guardrails to decide whether they wish to participate in these services. Just because we can provide them doesn't mean people want to participate. And as we all know, this money doesn't just come out of the ground. It comes from hardworking people in the Commonwealth and hardworking people across this country. And at some point, we're going to have to come to the realization that there are people who want to participate and people who don't want to participate. As sad as that sounds, we're going to have to start having some of those discussions. But with that being said, who's got a question? Oh, Representative Petrie has one more question.
Thank you. I just want to go back to an earlier point. If the chairs are good with it, I know we had mentioned exactly what services are in the contract, and if there's anything past absolute requirement by statute, can that be delivered back to the committee? Are y'all willing and able to do that? You'll need to say yes or no, I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. Senator Meredith.
Brief question, how much was the previous contract?
I believe it was within $10,000 of this amount, maybe even higher. This one's lower than last year's.
So nominal increase
Yeah.
this period?
No,
Okay.
decrease. Nominal decrease.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection?
Mr. Chair, given Chairman Petrie's comment about the scope of services provided, would it be appropriate to defer this contract for another month until we have that information?
I do not hear a motion to consider the contract reviewed, but I do hear a motion for deferral. Okay. We have a motion by Senator Meredith, and we have a second by Senator Thomas to defer this contract to our next meeting. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed, no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith,
Aye.
Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion for deferral passes. Thank you all very much for your time this morning and for the information. We certainly will be looking forward to receiving some of the information that Representative Petrie has suggested. And thank you, Representative Petrie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may. The final item on the deferred list is with the Department of Community-Based Services. It is number 7 on the July Memorandum of Agreement yellow list. If the representatives are here, would you please come to the table? Again, if I may, I'd like to remind you to make sure you pull your microphones a little closer. We want to be able to hear all those wonderful voices. And if you will, introduce yourselves for the record.
Dr. Jennifer Thornhill, I'm the Assistant Director for the Division for Prevention and Community Wellbeing within Department for Community-Based Services.
Good morning, Jamie Tipton. Good morning, Jamie Tipton. I'm a specialist on the Division of Community-Based Services.
Good morning. I'm Charity Roberts, and I'm the branch manager in the Prevention and Evidence-Based Practices branch.
Well, good morning and welcome to the committee. If you would, please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Cohort Chair has some questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm curious, why isn't DCBS able to provide these services in-house? And I'm also was wondering why Youth Villages in Memphis, Tennessee was the chosen.
Yeah, so I can answer both of those.
Okay, great.
So this Youth Villages Intercept program is a Title IV prevention services program, so it's funded under that Family First Prevention Services Act. Requirements for that act for claiming to access those federal funds, we have to use approved evidence-based practices on the clearinghouse. We have to use half of those that are well-supported interventions. So Intercept is one of 20 of those interventions now that it's on the clearinghouse, so not a tremendous amount to select from, to try to consider family needs and outcomes that we want to achieve in selecting those and getting those approved on our federal plan. So Intercept was selected for that reason, in addition to their ability to bring a clinical focus of intensive in-home services to keep children safely in their home, and then also to provide an additional layer to offer foster care stabilization to help youth step down, which provides cost savings, and then also family reunification. And then in terms of Tennessee, so this program is out of Tennessee. That is where the purveyor is, so that is where we can access them. Now I can say they have leadership in Kentucky. We have brick and mortar offices in Louisville and Lexington, and then these services are provided in the homes, in the communities across all of the counties and all of the regions across the state. So there are staff across the entire state living in those communities to serve these families.
So they're more or less just headquartered out of Memphis.
Correct.
Okay. Another question. All these children are covered by Medicaid. Can you explain why we would need the additional funds? Or am I wrong on that, or about the children being covered under Medicaid?
I think children could be covered under Medicaid that are served through these services. I cannot answer if Youth Villages bills Medicaid specifically for what they can bill Medicaid. So typically that is a requirement in our contracts for Family First Prevention Services that they can bill Medicaid for as much as possible, and that our contracts would be what is the non-billable. So that is typically the standard, and I could verify that and provide that information back.
Oh, that would be great. That's all I have, Co-Chair.
Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair Hart. I think that was a wonderful question. I think that's a question that we are going to be asking a lot for those who will be coming in front of the committee in the future, just to let you know.
That's pretty.
Representative Petrie also has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up on that, make sure I put as fine a point as I can, we have pretty decent numbers in Kentucky of all kids that are covered under KCHEP, a type of Medicaid. And it looks like, if I had to take a guess, the coverage populations, the similarities between this set of services and the KCHEP especially, would be very high percentage. And I understood in what you said that they can bill for that. Do we require that they bill for everything so that we can make an offset?
So typically within any tertiary prevention service or any Family First prevention service, the contract language includes that we're using the contract as the payer of last resort, including accessing those federal funds. So I can go back and confirm that and provide that information back and dig into that.
Please do so, because it strikes me a little counterintuitive that we're increasing the federal funds, and this maybe it all comes out in the wash in the end. But we're looking to increase the federal funds, increase the amount of the contract considerably for a population that is probably already high 90% coverage of Medicaid. And it doesn't seem there's a disconnect for me in there.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go back and find out that information, and then specifically the addition of funds. So this is to increase the numbers of family serving. So Intercept has pretty high success rates and outcomes of being able to keep the children in their homes safely, which of course keeps them out of our foster care system. And then, let's see.
And if I may, that leads me to the next piece. Is there any kind of performance measurement on this? So, for instance, but for a contract of so many tens of millions over a 2-year period, we would have maintained level of services at a higher level. But because of the contract, we have a certain number of children who receive lesser services, lesser severity. They're pulled down. We're intercepted successfully. Do we have any way that we're measuring that or getting feedback on it, or a part of the contract, or nope, just render the service and you get paid?
And then in terms of the outcomes and monitoring.
Yes.
So of course there's contract monitoring. Typically in our contracts, I can verify for Intercept, we require 80% or more are in their home, remaining safely in their home at the completion of services. So I can check on that. So presently, we have over, I think, 83% living in their home at closure. And then in terms of recidivism, as time goes on, at 6 months, 81%, at 12 months, 79%. So pretty steady in terms of being able to continue that and longer down the road. I'll also share, so also increasing. The intent to increase services, so the demand for services is there. So right now, serving at maybe under 200 youth a day. So the goal is to meet 300 youth serving every day through this increase, and then also to access services in our Eastern Mountain Service region. So I'd mentioned that they're statewide, and they have staff in all communities. So started serving in Eastern Mountain, and this contract allows us to fully go into that region in the eastern part of the state where there's some limited services, and especially in terms of prevention of entry into foster care.
Yeah, and this is a difficult question, and I'll finish up if that's okay.
Proceed.
It's a difficult question, but what I'm after is the sine qua non, that without which. So if we didn't have this contract, what would we be getting? Now that we have the contract, what is the palpable difference? So what are we actually getting? Because otherwise, you could just have a contract that renders services that we would have basically had the same result regardless. It would have happened some other way. So I'm looking for that special value that's added in by putting this contract out there and rendering that service. That is a difficult thing to do, if not sometimes near impossible, but that's what I'm after.
Okay.
That without which.
And if I think I'm understanding the question, correct me, and you can stop me if I'm wrong. So at the end of each state fiscal year, so those 81% of children, so we're serving about 300 children a day, those children are staying in their homes. So the cost for this service is about $12,000 per child. The cost for a child that's in foster care is right now, for the average length of time in foster care, is at a little over $64,000.
Yep, if you can detail that out, that would be great. If you don't mind, I'll go back and forth a little bit with you
Sure.
over time just to make sure we're getting as far along in the data as we can.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Petrie. Senator Meredith does have one more question. One more follow-up question.
I'm curious about the financing. It's all federal funds, but we're looking at a close to 80% increase in those funds. Is that already been secured, that funding?
So this is part of the specific state general fund appropriation that we get for Family First Prevention Services. So coupled with the 50% for reclaiming.
So is it one of those, if you don't spend it, you don't get it?
Yeah. Yes.
With the current environment in Washington of clawing back funds, is this funding in jeopardy for the next budget cycle? Because this just goes through 26.
I am not aware that Family First Prevention Services is in jeopardy. It was signed under current administration in 2018, or the previous administration.
It's something I would encourage y'all to watch very closely, because I'm really, I don't know, shocked or pleasantly surprised that you can get this kind of increase in federal funding, particularly in today's environment. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Meredith. With that being said, please understand one of our main concerns is duplication of services, whether it's duplication within the Commonwealth itself or whether it's duplication of services within the Commonwealth and contrasted with federal funding. Okay, and we really want to take a real hard look at, are we duplicating services? One of the things I got a little concerned about was the goal of serving 300. Well, it's great if there's a goal of serving 300 if 300 really need it. But we don't want to serve 300 just because we can serve 300. We want to serve 200 if they really need it. And then the others are learning to use their talents to improve their environment.
Sure.
So I just want us to be careful in how we approach that. With that being said, do I have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection?
So moved.
I have a motion by Representative Hart, Co-Chair Hart. Do I hear a second? Okay, I have a second by Senator Richardson. All those in favor, vote aye. All those opposed, say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith,
I'm going to pass on this one, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Senator Richardson, Senator Thomas, Representative Ballman, Representative McCool,
Yes.
Representative Rourke,
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
I'm going to pass on this as well, but the motion carries. Thank you so very much for we don't mean to be mean. We know that you guys are the experts in this particular space, and we're trying to become. So some of the questions that we ask may seem a little bit abrasive at times. We don't mean that at all. We just have a limited amount of time to gather information. So thank you all so very much this morning.
Thank you.
The next order of business is consideration of the agenda, including the personal services contract list, personal services contract amendment list, memorandum of agreement list, memorandum of agreement amendment list, and the deferred and the deferred list, except for those items selected for further review. Do I hear a motion to consider these contracts reviewed without objection? So moved. Have a motion by Senator Meredith. Who's that? Okay. I have a second by Representative Rourke. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Richardson. Aye. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Ballman.
Aye.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Motion carries. The first item on the pulled list is with the University of Kentucky, and it's number 27 on the PSC, on the routine Public Service Commission green list. If the representatives are here, please identify yourself. First of all, just come up to the table, identify yourselves for the record, and take a deep breath. Please identify yourselves.
Good morning, Jennifer Fraker, Director of Government Relations at the university.
Good morning, Barry Swanson. I'm the Chief Procurement Officer for the university.
Okay. Thank you both so very much for being here. Could you please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do have a couple of questions. I'm not quite as smart as some of the other people here on this committee, so I want to know what is meant by transaction and activation of services.
Yes, I can explain that. I would describe it as logistical support. These are there are multiple projects involved with this, two particularly. One for the Ag Research Building and one for the some work we're doing in PAV-A and PAV-HA as part of the healthcare system in Lexington. This group will come in and help us. These are large projects, hundreds of thousands of square feet of facility where we're moving from one building to a new building. And so they'll come in and help us organize those projects. They'll coordinate those. They'll supervise those projects.
Organize the movement process?
Yeah, the movement process. This is a lot of scientific equipment, medical equipment. It's not things that you can just hire a moving company to move. You need to have specialized services in order to handle the project.
I've set up labs before. I realize that, but I realize that most of our public doesn't. And I just want to give you an opportunity to let them know it isn't like packing up your TV and moving it next door.
No.
That's right. And just to give you an idea of the scope on the Agricultural Research Building, it's 263,000 square feet.
Second question. They have better movers in Ohio than we do in Kentucky.
Obviously at this dollar figure, it has to be subject to a competitive bid. So this firm is part of our consultant pool of contracts that we've negotiated contracts with. We sent out 168 RFPs. We've got 73 responses, and we've got 36 contracts. Contractors under contract, and so then the departments, as work comes up, go to that pool and negotiate specific scopes of work, and that is how we do it. So yeah, I would love to do business with a Kentucky moving company, but that's in our consultant pool, this is the one that was deemed to have the best expertise and the most reasonable price that we were able to negotiate with.
Well, my overall question was simply going to be, do we have Kentucky companies that are within your list of movers for consideration?
I don't know if we have. I don't know is the answer for this specific subject matter. There are many in the consultant pool. I don't know for this specific, because this pool covers many different topics, and so I can't answer that topics or that question specifically. In the pool, yes, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you would, I would like to have information to make sure that we are giving our Kentucky companies an opportunity to participate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really want to make sure that we do that.
Yeah, we can do that. Glad to do that.
I have a question from Senator Meredith.
Not a question, just kind of an explanation as to, I think, what you're asking the question to begin with. The contract description of this is provide funds for transition and activation services for the university. Services include integrated transition and activation planning and execution to align building delivery with operations and staff readiness, FF&E technology implementation, and move-in readiness and implementation. Well, what in the hell is that? And that's all we had to work with. So
Yeah.
that's why we had to pose a question.
No, I understand. It was a mouthful for sure, and but all of those services actually are part of the contract. So it's
I believe you, Barry. I got it. It's just a challenge to figure this stuff out when you get that kind of description, and that's all we have. But
Yeah. All we're asking is, look, we've got some really expensive stuff that needs to be moved, and we got to make sure they're not screwing up. So we want to make sure that we have a company who's going to do it and not cost us more money, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. Do I have a motion to consider?
Motion on the contract.
Okay. I have a second by Senator Thomas. I have a motion by Senator Meredith. All those in favor say yes. All those opposed, no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Bowman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion passes. Thank you also very much for
Thank
your
you.
time this morning, explaining some really simple things for you all that other people need to know as well. Thank you very much. Next items on the pulled list are with the Department of Community-Based Services, and they're number 1 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list, number 8 on the routine MOA pink list, and number 5 on the Memorandum of Agreement for $50,000 and under gray list. But since these are different contracts, we will take them separately. We will start off with number 1 on the Ivory list. If you would, I know you've been up here before, but if you would, please reintroduce yourselves.
Dr. Jennifer Thornhill. I'm the Assistant Director for the Division for Prevention and Community Wellbeing within the Department for Community-Based Services.
Charity Roberts. I'm the branch manager for Prevention and Evidence-Based Practices branch in the Division for Prevention and Community Wellbeing.
Okay. And having not left this proceeding, please understand that you are still under oath. Co-Chair Hart has questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You all noted that you're all moving funds to pay invoices, and will this have an impact on your funds appropriated for FY26?
It will not. The funds that are being moved from 25 to 26 are a little over $200,000. Those are Family First Transition Act funds, so those are entirely federal. They're 100% federal and have to be used prior to October of 2025, so that we can continue that to utilize those funds.
And it's a statewide contract, correct?
So this contract is specific to our Eastern Mountain region.
Okay.
Again, the region I mentioned earlier that is under-resourced.
All right. We get very general descriptions on what's going on. It says it underscores the importance of children growing up in families. Can you maybe just expand on that and just tell us a little bit more what this program does?
Yeah, so similar to the previous, this is a Family First Prevention Service, so specific to both family preservation and family reunification.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
You know, it's interesting. Those are the exact questions I was going to ask, and I don't know. I'm just an old country boy, but how we have to underscore the importance of children growing up in families. I'm sorry we're at that point, that we have to underscore to those people who are having children the importance of having children. But I guess that is where we are. With that being said, Representative Petrie, do you have a question?
Yes, briefly. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is this that we have invoices that we think are going to be coming in FY26, and so we're just moving money forward so we can get it paid, or is it we had money available in 25 and 26, and if we don't use the 25, we might lose it, so we're going to push it to 26 and see if we can use it?
Correct. We would like to use it all.
The second one?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Petrie. Any other questions? No? What do you think? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and do a vote on this one. Do I have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection?
So moved.
Okay. I have a motion by Co-Chair Hart. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll for number 1 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list.
Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Aye. Representative Ballman. Aye. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion carries. Again, the second one is number 8 on the routine memorandum of agreement pink list. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the second one. If you would pull the microphone forward, make sure the green light is on, and please introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name is Roger McCann. I'm the Director of Family Support within the Department for Community-Based Services.
Thank you, sir. Would you please raise your hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so very much. Representative Hart, or Co-Chair Hart, actually has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one. How will this program be impacted by the changes in SNAP regarding the eligibility provisions and the shift in cost to the state?
For clarification, this is the EKSEP. Yes, sir. So the HR 1, aka Big Beautiful Bill, does not mention SNAP employment and training. SNAP employment training is not a food program. It is a workforce development program. Okay. So it is not mentioned in that bill at all. So at this time, we don't believe there will be any impact to it.
All right, great. Thanks. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. Do I have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without issue? So moved. I have a motion by Senator Meredith.
Second.
And a second by Co-Chair Hart. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Richardson. Aye. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Ballman. Aye. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion carries. And thank you very much, sir.
He's got one more.
You've got one more. You're next up. Okay. And now we're looking at number 5 on the memorandum agreement list, $50,000 and under. Well, actually, it's the gray list. Co-Chair Hart again has a question.
Thank you so much. Can you tell us what's the SNAP outreach? What's SNAP outreach mean?
Sure.
Just make sure I'm not
confused. SNAP is the food program where people get funds on their EBT. Then there's SNAP E&T, which is EKSEP. That's the workforce piece. There was a SNAP Ed, which is a nutrition program. Now, that was affected by the Big Beautiful Bill. But SNAP outreach is USDA funds that typically go through states to nonprofits that work with folks who are in need of food, and it gives an opportunity for them to educate and do outreach in communities about SNAP, about the nutrition, and about the workforce programs. So SNAP outreach is literally an outreach program to help people understand and navigate the SNAP programs.
So it's more of an educational type of resource.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay. And one last question. Is there any indication that this program will be phased out in the future?
We have none at this time, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Any other questions regarding this contract?
Motion on the bill.
I hear a motion by Senator Meredith and second by Co-Chair Hart. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Ballman.
Aye.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Thank you so very much. The motion carries. Thank you very much for your information. The next item on the pulled list is with the Department of Highways and is number 34 on the Personal Services Contract Amendment Ivory list. Representatives are here. If you would just make sure that you're close enough to the microphone, make sure the green light is on. And if you would, introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning. My name's Erica Drury. I work in the Division of Construction Procurement for the Transportation Cabinet.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you so very much. Now, my question regarding this, explain to us alternative delivery services.
Sure. So a bulk of our construction program is design, bid, build, like we would normally do, low bid work. We design the contract, we put the project out for advertisement, and then contractors bid on it. But for some of our more complicated, larger projects, we utilize alternative delivery methods like design, build, progressive design, build, and construction manager, general contractor. This alternative delivery support services is for an owner's representative because we don't have the expertise in-house to manage these projects. They're here to help us with repeatable processes and keeping the project on schedule.
Two concerns I have in this whole area. Number one, we've got almost a 45% increase in the ask, and it's not from $29.95 to $50.
Right.
It's from, it's an extra $4 million.
Yes.
For alternative services. Help me with that.
Well, because the process is relatively new, the contract is new, and so we did underestimate the support services that we would need. But these contracts we just awarded a $150 million construction project that this consultant supported for us. It's important that we have the owner's reps on our side to be able to keep the contractors do the design reviews and review their schedules and risk mitigation. So we did undershoot, but we also had to apply for a federal grant 3 times unexpectedly. We thought we would get it the first time, and we applied 3 times. That's under this contract. The I-65 Central Corridor project that they're supporting, one of the contracts they're supporting, is in downtown Louisville, one of our busiest corridors, and it's got 18 bridges that we intend to replace. So that's why it's necessary for us to increase these funds.
Chairman Douglas.
Oh.
I apologize. I'm Eric Pelfrey. Good to see you again. I'm out of
Hi,
state
Eric.
today.
Well,
How are you?
but before you speak, raise your right hand.
Yes, sir.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, since we already know you.
Yes, sir, I do. Great to see you again also.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
If I don't mind, could I just add one point of clarification also? So Eric is talking about the contract that we have with WSP. We also have an identical contract with American Structure Point, and that contract is also a $5 million initial contract, and we're not even at 40% of that contract. So if you look at the entire breadth of the program, we expected $10 million, and we're right at about $10 million. So I completely agree. We're utilizing this contract a little bit more than we expected. We're underutilizing the other one. But if you look at the breadth of the program, we're right on target.
Oh, well, thank you for that information. And I'm so happy you're here because my second question was simply going to be, as I review a lot of the contracts under our Department of Highways, and this is not a gotcha question, I'm really asking sincerely. One of the things I see most often is extension of time. Could you help me a little bit with that, with those requests?
Absolutely. So, for example, on this one, this was an initial 2-year contract. We will not make any additional assignments beyond the 2 years. However, as Erica mentioned, with the I-65 Bridges contract, that project will continue beyond 2 years. So all that we're asking is additional time to complete the services which we've already assigned. But again, that will not come with any additional cost beyond what we've asked for. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit longer than 2 years to do these. And since it is a 2-year initial contract, hypothetically, if we issue a new assignment in the 23rd month, there is no chance that we would ever complete that contract within the final month. So all that we're asking is that the assignments are made within that 2-year period, and the work continues until the work is complete. And again, that's in the best interest of the Commonwealth, because that consultant has the ideas, has the expertise, and the institutional knowledge on that project.
Well, I appreciate that, and what I really appreciate is the no additional cost comment that you made. That I like. Do I hear any other questions regarding this? Okay, Representative Petrie has a question.
And it may be more of a comment, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we understand this is from road funds, so not a general, not a federal, not an agency. It's road funds, which is generally good. But I would be interested in, and if you can break this down for me, that would be great later on. We're talking about $10 million or 15 or 20 or whatever we use in consulting on these contracts and other contracts. We only have so much road fund to build and maintain roads with. And every time we issue a contract for consulting on particular types of projects, that it reduces the amount of money that's available for actually constructing whatever the project might be. And at some point in time, the natural question is are we tilting heavy on consults and integrating outside people to talk about talking, as opposed to actually getting projects done? That doesn't mean that this is what's happening here, but that's the natural progression of thought. It would be interesting to know how much we spend out of our road funds on consults of all different types to talk about how to talk about it, the project being the it. Does that make sense, Mr. Chair?
It's a fair
It
point.
does make sense, and that is the path that this committee will be taking some serious looks at.
Thank you.
And that is our return on investment of the money that we're making.
Thank you.
Any other questions? With that being said, do I hear a motion to consider the contract reviewed without objection?
So moved.
I hear a motion from Senator Meredith. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a second from Representative Rourke. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you so very much for your time, and I hope we weren't
Thank
too
you.
rough on you this morning.
Yeah.
The
Thank
next
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. The next item on the pulled list is with facilities and support services. It's number 44 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list. Thank you so very much for
Good morning.
coming this morning. If you would, introduce yourself for the record.
Scott Baker with Executive Director, Division of Engineering, Contract Administration.
Okay.
Finance
Thank
Cabinet.
you very much, Scott. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you so very much. Representative Ballman has a question, and then I'll have a short question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Scott, I'm sorry, I did not catch your last name, sir. Did you
Baker.
say Baker?
Yes, sir.
Baker, good. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
You too.
And I noticed here that we're looking at upgrades for various facilities as it relates to this contract. And I'd really like to zero in on the facility in Jefferson County, if I may, for a few minutes, because this project seems to me to be way behind, and I'd really like an update because I'm sure you're aware of the juvenile crime epidemic that is sweeping our country in urban areas around the United States. And Louisville, Kentucky, where I live, sir, is no different. We have a serious juvenile crime problem, but we do not have a juvenile detention center in Louisville. So the General Assembly took note of that and appropriated funds for a juvenile detention center in Louisville. The city of Louisville actually gave the state a building to use for this detention center. And it's really crippling to us as a community not to have anywhere to house juvenile criminals in Louisville. So the option is Adair County, a couple hours away, and we know what actually happens with the revolving door. So it's an immediate and very serious need for our community in Louisville. I was wondering if you could provide us an update on the progress of that facility.
Well, Thank you, Representative. I did not come prepared today. I came prepared today to talk about the contract that was pulled.
Yes.
And but to that contract, I mean, the construction process has started. The contract's been awarded, and I can provide an update to the committee later today on exactly where we are within the construction schedule as it's been set and the work has progressed. But I don't know that off the top of my head.
Yeah, Mr. Baker, I deeply appreciate your commitment to respond further at a later time. That would be appropriate, and I appreciate that. I did send a letter to the commissioner and the governor months ago, just concerned about the lack of progress, and recently in another committee, one of the judiciary subcommittees, it was mentioned that the facility would reopen. Maybe, which to me seemed to align well with the governor terming out. Does the governor just not want to open this facility, sir?
I could not imagine that being even a concept. Again, the process of receiving a building from the city of Louisville to design, to retrofit, to serve this population is a very complex process. That's why the design process took as long as it did. And now we're in the construction phase. We've been pushing this project. Our directives from Finance Cabinet and the Governor's Office have been to push this project forward as fast as we can.
Excellent.
And we have pushed this project as fast as we can.
Well, Mr. Baker, I appreciate that very much. I can tell you a 2027 timeline for my community in Louisville is unacceptable. So my last question is, what do you and your team need from the General Assembly to expedite this?
At this point, the only way you could potentially increase or decrease the construction time is to issue a proposal request to the contractor and say, what's it going to cost to double shift the project? And then you would have to throw a tremendous amount of money, additional funds at the project in order for the contractor to deliver the project faster than we would normally be delivered. Construction takes time. So again, to be able to deliver it any faster at this point, the only way that could be achieved is by requesting from the contractor what is there a possibility, what would it cost to accelerate construction, and then come back to this committee or someone in the legislature to receive the funding to support that, to simply fund an accelerated process, which is not, within the budget that was appropriated for the project.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Mr. Chairman, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Representative Brooks?
Thank you, Chair. I just had a brief comment for some additional clarification around this need in Jefferson County. Back when I was a legislative aide during the budget cuts of 2019, this was one of the things that was on the chopping block for our city. And so when we didn't want to, as a city, increase taxes, we ultimately had to make some really hard choices. And detention was one of the things that went back into state purview rather than local control. I think it needs to be, having local control so that we can keep youth who are being rehabilitated closer to their families, better able to get back into the community as reforms happen in their lives. But having them closer to home and creating more stability while we are able to put them as more functioning members of our community and return them into the community, I think that's of the utmost importance. And it is an issue when you have a revolving door with juvenile crime. But I did just want to add a little bit more context that this was something that has been passed down the line. It is extremely important, but it is a very outdated building, and understand, that the timeline is what it is with the funding that has been allocated. So appreciate the attention, but I did just want to add some of that historical context of how we got here.
Thank you very much. Senator Thomas?
I'm just going to defer to Representative Rourke. She really said what I was going to say. Her recitation of history is absolutely correct. And so I think she explained it quite well. And to the point that you made, the governor has taken this very seriously and is on the move to try to complete this project.
Finally, I do have a question. In mine actually always, not always, but certainly a lot of the times is over the money. We're looking at a 200% increase in a redesign. Why?
So, Senator Douglas, this is not a redesign. Again, the project, as many of these projects, was originally awarded. The RFP covered the initial study of all the facilities, and then included within that scope any subsequent design to bring up those standards within those facilities. This particular change that's before you today, this contract modification, is to change for changes at the Warren Regional Detention Center as well as changes at the Adair facility. These were items that were addressed during the initial study, the initial contract, the initial purpose of this design services contract. And these were all identified. There were items identified at all of the juvenile justice facilities that needed to be executed to enhance the security. And now we're beginning to roll out those projects. There will be additional modifications to this design contract as we move forward in making the needed security modifications to additional juvenile justice facilities across the Commonwealth. This particular one addresses Warren and Adair. Does that answer your question, sir?
Sort of. So the contract is not the contract.
These are design services contracts, not construction contracts. The original design services RFP and contract was to study and evaluate all the facilities, with individual projects being broken out at a later date based on both the discoveries of the study as well as the funding available to the Cabinet to Juvenile Justice. So that's how these projects all work in that manner. So again, it's a negotiated change to a negotiated contract. The initial services provided were study. Now we're rolling out security projects based on the study.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just trying to get a handle on the approach to the contracts. Any other questions? No? Okay. With that being said, do I hear a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection? Who was that? Was it Bowman? Okay. We have a motion by Representative Bowman. Do I hear a second? I have a second by Representative Rourke. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas.
Aye.
Representative Ballman.
Aye.
Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. The motion carries. Thank you so very much for your time and for the explanation. The same group? Okay. Yeah. I had some things that were brought to my attention. I don't know if anyone else has the information, but I've been receiving a number of emails and calls, and there are some things. Sometimes we need to put some things to rest, and perhaps you can help me with this one, because you and I both know that once rumors get started, they tend to sort of balloon. And what I have been hearing is about the $50,000 windows for the Capitol. Could you help? Could you help me with that?
Yes, Senator Douglas. And to your point, rumors and are a horrible thing that we all have to deal with and address. And I think the key is the source of information needs to be a reliable source, no matter what it is. The Windows package for the Capitol project had a budget of $3.1 million. It's had that budget for a number of months. That was the budget within the total budget of the project for the window work and window replacement. We received 4 bids. None of this information has been made public as of yet because we're still in the process of negotiating and finalizing the contract terms to all of the bid packages. But I can address this one because this one has been finalized. We received 4 bids on the Windows package. 3 of them were right in line with the estimate. One was an outlier that came in at like $7 million. It was obviously tossed out. The contract was actually being awarded at $2.9 million, which obviously does not calculate out based on the $10 million that was utilized in some unsourced report. So again, source of the data is important. and 2.9 million for the total window package that includes not just the windows, obviously, but there's also the historic cast iron window grills that have to be removed and replaced and refurbished while they're out. And there's also the exterior trim work on those windows that are part of the masonry and stone that have to be reworked as well. So again, it's not just taking a vinyl window out of your house and putting a new one in. Obviously, this is pretty complex. But again, the numbers did come in line with the budget, with what was proposed within our budget numbers for many months, and they came right in line with the vendors.
Well, thank you, Scott. I think often some of these rumors get started, and you guys are sort of left out in the middle of the ocean, sort of with a paddle with no boat. Yeah. And I think it really is important for us, and I know it could be inconvenient for you sometimes, but to give you an opportunity to come in and rectify what's out there. And unfortunately, sometimes that just doesn't happen. So,
not a problem at all. Anytime we need to clarify something, let us know.
Okay. Well, I thank you for the explanation. I thank you for taking the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
The next item on the pulled list is with the University of Louisville. It is number 59 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list. The university is requesting to defer the contract to the September meeting. We haven't done this one, have we? That was on one of the others. Yeah, that's what I thought. We need to defer this one. So they're asking for a deferral to our September meeting. Do I have a motion to defer the contract? I have a motion by Co-Chair Hart. Do I hear a second? Who was that? Was it? Okay. I have a second by Senator Richardson. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Aye. Senator Richardson. Aye. Senator Thomas. Aye. Representative Ballman. Aye. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you all so very much. The next item on the pulled list is with Western Kentucky University. It is number 60 on the PSC Amendment Ivory list. If the representatives are here, would you?
Senator Douglas, yes, we are online.
Excellent, excellent. Well, you didn't have the gas to come, or what? What happened?
It's class is starting next week. It's pretty busy here on campus today. So
okay, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to explain yourselves. If you would, please introduce yourselves for the record.
yes, I'm Jennifer Smith, Assistant Vice President for Government and External Relations, and with me is Dr. Jennifer Tugas. I'll let her introduce herself.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Tugas. I am the Assistant Vice President for Business Services at WKU, and Transit Services reports underneath me.
Thank you so very much. Could you please both raise your right hands? I don't see him. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Well,
Thank you very, very much. Representative McCool has some questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here today, or being with us today. The amount almost doubled from the original contract cost without any justification. So has something changed since the original contract?
yeah, and the it's really a simple a matter of when the original contract was submitted last year. When we submitted it, we submitted the time frame over 2 years, but when I put the funding down, I only put the funding down for the first year. And so the contract actually began in October, so the contract year runs separately from our fiscal year. So I really consider it something of a clerical error in how I filled out the form originally. We run 10,000 service hours per year and carry about 370,000 passengers a year at WKU. So in round numbers, our budget is $1 million a year. That is, RATP Dev is our contractor that provides that services. It is outsourced. And it is part of a joint RFP process that we have done with the city of Bowling Green to use a common vendor. So in essence, the amendment you have before you is to fund the second year of the contract.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative McCool. I'll let that go. Any other questions? Okay. No other questions. Do we have a motion to consider the contract reviewed without objection? Yeah, I actually heard Co-Chair Hart first, and then Representative McCool for the second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
Aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Well, since this is my alma mater, I guess I'll have to say aye. With that, the motion carries, and thank you, ladies, so very much for your information this morning.
Thank you.
The next item on the pulled list is with the Council on Post-Secondary Education, and it is number 3 on the routine MOA pink list. Representatives are here. If you just find yourselves a seat and make sure you're comfortable with the microphone so we can hear you, make sure that the green buttons are on. And if you would just introduce yourself for the record, please.
Hello, I'm Leslie Brown. I'm with the Division of Operations at the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education.
Okay.
Michaela Minier-Steverson, Program Manager for Healthcare Workforce at the Council.
If you would, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I have a question here. Just taking a look at this contract, recognizing and rewarding excellence among Kentucky healthcare professionals, professional education and training, blah, 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 blah. One of the things I noticed that at least 65% of the funds go to students pursuing programs targeting critical workforce areas. But 35% go to what I've previously talked about.
So let me stop you there because we looked at that and realized we had made a mistake. That language came strictly out of statute in the way that it was designed. This particular proposal, 100% of the funds are being used for student scholarships, but with a partnership between Baptist Health and Bellarmine University. Actually, looking back, of the $20 million that we have been, well, $10 million from the state, $10 million from private partners that we have been given, we only have one incentive contract. And it's for $150,000 total between Humana and Eastern Kentucky University. The rest of the funds have solely been used for scholarships.
Well, thank you very much. I want you to know that I certainly do, and I know my colleagues here on this committee and your representatives in the General Assembly are really happy to hear that. We're here to make sure that we educate our students and provide our students with an opportunity to grow, and that's it. So I really do appreciate you coming and explaining that, and you saved yourselves a lot of grief today.
Yeah, we saw the error of our ways as soon as it got pulled, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
I understand this one.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion to have the contract considered reviewed without objection. Do I hear a second? Okay. Who was that? Okay. Sorry, he beat you. Okay. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Kirk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith.
I gleefully vote aye.
Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool. Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I hope you weren't nervous. We weren't. But again, one of the things I really want to emphasize is we have some absolutely wonderful legislators on this committee, and we will be reviewing every contract that comes through, not to try to find fault, but just to make sure that we're moving forward in the appropriate direction. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
The final items on the pulled list are with the Department of Education, and they are numbers 42 and 43 on the routine MOA pink list. If the representatives are here, we'll have a conversation.
Good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
Karen Worth. I'm with the Department of Education.
Matthew Courtney, I'm the policy advisor to the Kentucky Department of Education's Office of Continuous Improvement and Support.
Thank you both so very much. Please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Thank you very much. Representative McCool also has some questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here today.
And we'll start out with number 42. And if you'd like to ask questions about number 43, you may, although we'll need to have two separate motions for them.
Okay, all right, thank you. On 42, with the President's proposed budget for year 26, consolidating grants funding may change or eliminate the 21st Century Community Learning Centers. Can you just provide us an update of what the status is, both to the budget projections and to the future of the program?
Partially. As you know, many of these issues are still very much in flux in Washington. You may recall that recently some funds were held back by the administration. Those funds were eventually released. 21st Century Grant Programs were a part of that. 21st Century Grant Programs are funded, they're forward funded, which means we get the money this year for next year's grant cycle. So we have this year funding, we have funding for next year, and then we don't really know what's going to happen after that. So right now, the best I can say is funding for this school year is taken care of. That was received last year. Funding for next school year, that was received just recently when the OMB released the funds that they had delayed.
Thank you. If there is any changes, can you just keep us informed? Is that
Absolutely.
okay?
We think these programs are very important. We'd appreciate you advocating along our side with that.
Thank you very much. That's all I have for that one, Mr. Chairman. If you want me to go on to 43, I can do that, or maybe somebody else has a question.
Do we have any other questions on? No, Representative McCool. I think we have some pretty big brains in here. So if you go ahead and ask questions about 43, I think we can differentiate them when we do our votes.
All right, that'll work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Douglas, we have a new person at the table.
If you would please introduce yourself for the record.
Good morning, Mickey Ray Marinelli, Chief Academic Officer at the Kentucky Department of Education.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Representative McCool.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, thank you for being here. I just need some clarification on this, if that's okay. Just kind of explain to me what's happening. The contract's being run through the Green River Co-op, but it appears to be a position with KDE. So who is this person working for? KDE or Co-op or?
Yes, sir. Happy to explain that, Representative. So this position was posted, and this candidate was selected as the most qualified. He's actually coming to us from Thomas More University, but they were unfamiliar with the MOA process, and so we had to seek an MOA partner to ensure that we could receive the services provided by this specific employee. I will say he is directly reporting to me, but our partners at GREC are able to build out the supports to ensure that he has the space and what he needs to be able to function effectively.
He's a KDE employee?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions about contract number 43? No. With that being said, well, let's move back to contract number 42. Do I have a motion to consider contract number 42 reviewed without objection? I have a motion by Co-Chair Hart. Do I have a second? I have a second by Representative McCool. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith?
Aye.
Senator Richardson? Senator Thomas? Representative Bauman?
Aye.
Representative McCool?
Yes.
Representative Rourke?
Yes.
Representative Hart?
Yes.
Chairman Douglas?
Aye. Motion carries. Now we will address contract number 43. Do I hear a motion, or do I have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection? Oh. Before we proceed, Representative Petrie, do you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On 43, am I looking at this right? Agreement type is for communication, digital media consultant for 105,000 general fund. Is that fair?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what, I can read the words. What's that mean?
So we have so many resources that we are trying to increase the awareness of both district level employees, school administrators, and teachers. There is a lot of work that's happening around Read to Succeed and numeracy counts, MTSS, and so part of our objective is to not only make sure that we are marketing those resources, getting them into the hands of educators, but also identifying bright spots. And so this employee will be able to help us elevate those stories. He has background in video production, and so we really want to be able to use in-house services rather than having to look outside of the KDE to be able to support that work.
So, and I'm trying to use neutral language as best I can, but you're marketing within KDE and those that KDE administer.
That's correct.
And how many of these positions such positions or similar positions do you have throughout KDE?
That's
and
a
if
great
you don't
question.
know, if you can get that back to committee would be great, or me, but
I
committee.
think maybe 2, but I'll check.
Yeah, and would like to see what the job functions are.
Happy to do that.
So you hear that and you go, okay, so I've got a YouTube producer, or I've got a pamphlet producer, and I understand it can be more than that, but I just would like a little information about that one.
Absolutely. And we do have a very detailed job description, so we can get that to you.
Yeah, has that position existed very long?
So we're refilling this position. The previous employee left us for a co-op, a position there, and so we are looking to refill it. But it was very successful in its first year.
And how long was the vacancy?
It was posted for, I think, 3 months potentially, but I'll
So less than a
maybe
year
misspeaking.
vacant,
less
than
than
6 months vacant.
Correct, correct.
Okay, and that position had existed for 1, 2, 5, 10 years, ballpark?
For just 1 year.
So this is a relatively new
Yes.
creation.
Yes.
And prior to the creation of this position, how was the internal marketing to school districts accomplished?
So we have had newsletters for a long time, but we know that we need to improve the usability of our website, of our resources. And so this was our attempt to make an investment in that work to better meet the needs of the audience that we serve, which is Kentucky educators.
So is this position also going to work on KDE's website?
On the Office of Teaching and Learning web pages, yes.
Just on particular pages?
Yes. And then we have some supplemental websites. We have kystandards.org, which houses all of our standards documents, professional learning resources. We just created a partnership for a PLMS, a professional learning management system, the KY Learning Hub. And he has a lot of background in Canvas and the PLMS. And so we're very optimistic that our services will continue to be improved.
Yeah, and you know me well enough, so I'll make a comment kind of like I did earlier. You get to a certain point, you get to a tilt. Services and programs are available. When we have to do internal marketing to make sure that people know about all the services, we may have too many services and not focused enough. And then if you've got to hire on 105,000, maybe another 105,000, and maybe 3 years from now another 105,000 or more, in order to make sure people know what all we're doing, we may have more that we're doing than we ought to be doing, or have a better delivery system for the more focused core services we should be getting out. Anyway, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Other questions? I do have a concern in this space that what was the salary of the previous person in this position?
So I don't have the exact number, Senator. It was based on an MOU through a school district. It was through Jessamine County. So it would have been, I believe, less, but it would be based on the daily rate of that school district.
Of that employee.
For that employee, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Do I have a motion to consider this contract reviewed without objection? Okay. Co-Chair Hart has made a motion, and Senator Thomas has seconded. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed, no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Meredith. Senator Richardson. Senator Thomas. Representative Ballman. Representative McCool.
Yes.
Representative Rourke.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Chairman Douglas.
Aye, but I'm going to explain my vote. You know, I have the same concern that Representative Petrie has. I'm continually seeing different facets of our Commonwealth coming in, asking for more money, more persons here, more persons there. And I look at some of the outcomes, I don't see our outcomes improving. But I also don't hear them telling me why we need more things, because if we need more things, that tells me that some of the old things aren't working, and I don't have anyone coming and telling me that, well, we're going to cancel this particular contract, or we're going to cancel these particular programs. And at some point, I have that I have to agree with Representative Petrie. I think that we're getting off kilter, and I just think that we need to consider some of those facts. With that being said, the contract, the motion carries, and I hope this benefits the teaching of the people of the Commonwealth, the kids of the Commonwealth, because if it doesn't, we won't need it. But thank you all so very much. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Before adjournment, I want to make the announcement that the September 25 meeting date is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 9th. It will be at 9 a.m. in the morning. And I understand that Co-Chair Hart expects you to be here on time, just like you were this morning. I want to thank everybody. Do I hear a motion for adjournment? Oh, I have a motion. This meeting's adjourned.